Cross My Heart Ministries, Martha Monday. If you're a regular subscriber, you know that each week, or most weeks on Monday, we take a break from our regular Friday devotionals and Bible teaching, and we do something fun or home related. We share a recipe or an organizational tip. Well, this week, I want to share an idea for a way that you can capture some memories of this unprecedented, but what will surely be an historical time as everyone looks back upon. Now, no matter where you find yourself on the continuum, and I do want to acknowledge the very real suffering that so many people are experiencing, and as they deal with medical and financial and all sorts of crises related to this pandemic and the forced quarantine that we're experiencing. For many of us who are stuck at home, we would describe this more as a time of inconvenience and a time of doing things differently. We are cooking differently, shopping, we are having conversations differently, we're working and doing school differently. And as we look back a few years at this season in life, I think there's going to be lots of memories that come up. A few weeks ago, I published a video challenging you to think and consider what would have to happen for you to look back and declare this season as good. And really challenged you as I challenged myself to be intentional and deliberate about not just cycling down to being grumbly or complaining or just critical, but to really seize this time and to make some good memories, organize our day, not let the day get away from us, but really be intentional about the way we use our time. Many of you know that I write for another blog called A Reason for Homeschool, and something that I did for them that was just published this week is create a little time capsule idea. And so the idea behind this is based on the old parlor game 20 questions, and many of you may have played 20 questions. So we have created 20 questions for you to answer. I'll put the link below to download that link. But there's a we version and an I version for you, so you can print one of these out for your family, or you can print one out for each one of your children or your grandchildren. You can do it virtually and answer your questions together. You can call grandma, have the kids call grandma and interview her. But I just think it would be fun to capture all these sweet memories, all these different things that we're doing, because when we look back in 5 or 10 or 20 years, and this is actually recorded in the history books, we may have children or grandchildren who haven't even been born yet that will ask us, Grammy, what did you do during that time? How will you answer? And so here's just a couple of questions that you might be called upon to answer. What we did, what were the books that we read? Well, I shared a video a few weeks ago about some of the books that I'm reading for 2020, and that link, we'll put that below for you to check out as well. I've added a couple more, but another fun one that I'm going back and reading are these great books that are really children's books, but maybe juvenile level, but just so fun, called the Penderwicks. Jean Birdsall is releasing the 5th one, and so in honor of her releasing that, I'm cycling back to read all these. They are just delightful, about these 4 girls and their father and their different adventures. Sort of has a feel of Little Women to them, but they are marvelous. So I'm going to put that on the books that I'm reading, as well as maybe put my book list of all the books that I'm reading in 2020 as well. For movies we watched, one of our family's favorites is Ben-Hur. And so to honor the Christmas season, we're going back and we watched Ben-Hur again. Charlton Heston, that classic movie is just absolutely fabulous. Love Ben-Hur, and it's just a classic. For years, we would watch Ben-Hur on Easter afternoon while most families hunted Easter eggs. Our kids finally revolted and we stopped that, but we love it anyway. While our son Luke and his wife Emily have been quarantined with us, we've been playing the game Quirkle. So that's the next question, games we played. And I really enjoyed Quirkle. It's quick and kind of mindless, but has you thinking and doing a little strategy. I think I'm going to order on Amazon a copy of Quirkle to have at my house. I'll put a link below if you would like to buy your own as well. For something that we've never done before, I put Zoom meetings because I had to learn to do Zoom. I'm doing Bible study sessions by Zoom. We had a family Zoom connection on Easter afternoon. What we ran out of? Well, I did a pretty good job of stocking up, but the things that I've run out of are probably the same things that you have run out of. Fresh things, cilantro, lemons, lettuce, strawberries, grapes, all the fresh stuff. And so I did load up on some canned fruit, but when we just can't stand it and we need some fresh stuff, I'll schedule a pickup, because that's how we do grocery shopping in our house these days. The funny things that we will remember. Well, I printed off a couple of the funny things. This one, a friend sent to me. I'm not sure where it came from, and I don't think it's going to be large enough for you to see it, so I'll have to read it, and I apologize it's not in color. But it's a church sign from a church out front, and it says, "Prophecy class canceled due to unforeseen circumstances." So I think funny things like that and all the clever, witty things people are posting on Facebook, it's fun to remember those, it's fun to share those. But of course, there's also really funny things that happen within your family as we deal with this pandemic and all being close together. Of course, when we think about new words and phrases, for the children, it might be the big word quarantine, but I think for all of us, the phrase social distancing. I was telling my family recently that I heard that phrase the first time and it was so new, and then I was having a conversation with the director out at Camp Siloam deciding whether or not we were going to cancel our last Bible study, and I was trying to retrieve that word. I'd only heard it once, and I said, "Oh, what is the word they're using?" It's something about hedging, social hedging, something about creating a fence of protection. I couldn't remember it. Of course, now that's so funny because social distancing is on the tip of everyone's tongue. I think where we want to go after the quarantine is over, for my husband and me, that would be rib crib. We are missing our barbecue. And who we want to see when the quarantine is over? Well, our grandchildren, of course. We had to cancel our trip to Houston, and we would love to see those two precious girls. We are so grateful for FaceTime and technology that lets us see them, but there's nothing like connecting with them in person. I thought it would be fun, so I added a question on here to record the price of gasoline. $1.13 per gallon in our town. That is amazing. I saw someone post another funny on Facebook that said, "I feel like I'm in high school again. I'm grounded and gasoline is cheap." So if you grew up in the 70s like I did, that was the era, probably the last time we've seen gasoline that inexpensive. How we got groceries, we did carry out. The new chores that we did, well, my new chore is baking bread. I just gave up on trying to get bread, so I'm baking bread, and that's a new chore on my schedule, as well as using all those Clorox wipes and wiping things down, and trying to be very careful, washing our hands longer and more frequently. I think the thing that we will miss is probably the thing that many of you will miss, and that's just the slower pace. I've heard many people talk about, when this is all over, the conversations and the dialogues that will take place as we consider what we're going to add back or what we're not going to add back. And do we need to jump back onto that merry-go-round and keep spinning, spinning, spinning? And how will we make decisions differently as a family, as a church, as a community? What will we do to sort of embrace the good that came from this and the things that we learned about maybe just having a little less structure and a little less busyness and not being so overscheduled? Well, if I've convinced you that doing your own time capsule and answering your own 20 questions is a good idea, another idea to capture all that is to create a time capsule. And I thought, what could be better than an empty Clorox wipe container? You just pop the lid off of that. You can roll your time capsule and other things up and put them in here. We have even created a label that you can print off if you follow that link below, and just tape that onto the outside of your Clorox wipe container. If the thing that you've eaten a lot is a lot of ice cream, you've gone through that, maybe you could use your empty ice cream container to capture all of your memories during this season as well. And of course, the time capsule label will go on there as well. We've set this up to open in 2030, so 10 years from now, you can pull this out with your children or grandchildren and go through your memories. Some things that you might want to include besides the documented answers to all your questions are maybe some news articles or blog posts that you've clipped out or cut from the newspaper to remember what happened. I printed off a few things that I would include in mine. First of all is a picture of our governor here in Arkansas. Governor Asa Hutchinson is a godly man. It's been a joy to pray for him. I pray for him regularly. His voice is calm and reassuring. He's not panicked. He has been so faithful to keep in touch with all of his constituents in Arkansas. Early every afternoon, there's a regular news conference where he comes on. He gives us the statistics. He tells us about the decisions that are being made. I just feel like he's done a remarkable job of communicating with us. but just his presence, knowing that he's a godly man, knowing that he is unhurried and he is calm and intentional, knowing that as he leads, he also prays, he serves the God that I serve. I am grateful for this man and his leadership. And so I'm going to put a picture of Asa in my time capsule. Also, some of the funnies that we will print off, like the church thing that I mentioned. This is another funny, and this circled its way around. I'm not sure where to even attribute it to, because someone emailed it to me. But apparently this little guy named Ben made this post on Facebook. This was early on in the quarantine, and he suddenly found himself being homeschooled. And so it just says, Ben, it's written in a child's writing, 3/16/20. It is not going, and he titles it homeschooled. He says, it is not going good. My mom is getting stressed out. My mom is really confused. We took a break so my mom can figure this stuff out, and I'm telling you, it is not going good. Well, I guess Ben's mom must have posted that and she thought it was funny, and we all got a good laugh. This was on March 16th, so I'm trusting that by April 16th, Ben's mom has it all figured out. They're loving being together. She's doing a great job, and I hope that Ben will write a new update, but that just made me giggle, so I printed that, and I'm going to put it in my time capsule as well. This is a picture I hope you can see, black and white. Sorry, don't have the color printer at home. But this just made me laugh so much. My sister is my sister because God knew that I could be too serious, and I needed my sister Shelly to make me laugh. This is a picture she has of her 2 children on Easter. She put toilet paper rolls in their Easter baskets, and so there they are pictured with their Easter baskets filled with toilet paper, and they're both wearing masks. I have just pulled that back up and laughed. So I'm going to put Josh and Allie in my time capsule just to remember that season. So I would love to know what you are doing to redeem the time and what you want to remember. And so go ahead, go over to areasonforhomeschool.com. I'll put the link below. Print off your copy, start answering your questions. But leave me a note below and tell me what's the one thing that you would put in your time capsule to remember this historical, unprecedented time in our nation's history, in our community's history, certainly in your family's history. We need to have some fun. We need to be intentional to love on one another. We need to pray daily for God's protection and His provision. We need to pray post-haste for those who are working to find a vaccine. We need to praise God and thank Him for all the people that are working so hard to keep us safe. But we can also capture these memories because our children, our grandchildren will ask us, and it will just maybe challenge us to be intentional to make some memories if we haven't yet. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Laura McFarland. This is Cross My Heart Ministry. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, it's super easy, and best of all, it doesn't cost anything. Just click that big red subscribe button, put in your Gmail address, and then we'll send you a quick notification each time we post a new video. Please stay tuned to watch for this Wednesday. We have a special announcement coming about something amazing that we're going to be doing during the month of May. Stay safe, stay home, keep washing those hands, and have a blessed week.